From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us, true believers, for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for July 2020. We're back. We've been open for about a month and a half now. Things are slowly getting back to normal. July is going to be much more normal than the last few weeks have been. June was a little tough because Marvel, in an effort to not rush too much product out, has been kind of alternating weeks. So one week they'll have books, the next week they won't. So it's been a little slow there. A lot of other publishers haven't really come back yet. Image has been slow, Dark Horse has been slow. So we've had some stuff, but not a ton of it. DC has been plowing ahead with their stuff, which almost seems too quick. But welcome back. I hope you've made it down to the store. If not, please come on down. One bad thing that happened due to the shutdown is Free Comic Book Day was canceled this year. So they just announced a new plan that I'm not 100% on board with, where they're making it Free Comic Book Summer. And every week they're going to ship us 5 to 6 of the Free Comic Book Day titles starting in the middle of July. And I think part of it is the books are already made and they need to get them out somehow. The publishers have paid for the production. A lot of them are leading to things that are coming later, so they need to get the books out. But for us, the stores, the hard thing is we can't have a big event. Free Comic Book Day was always a big celebration. We made it a big event. It was huge, tons of people coming in, getting stuff. It was always my biggest sales day of the year. And there's no way to really replicate that. I'm not allowed to have more than 10 or 15 people in the store at a time. And so by sending me a few books every week, I think they're doing it for 9 weeks, they want us to have 9 separate events, and we really can't. So I cut way back on my orders. Luckily, we were able to adjust our orders on them. So I'm getting a lot less just because normally I'd spend a good bit of money on those books, but with no way to really recoup that expense. I've cut back. So if there's something that you saw that was coming that you want, let me know. I will be posting on the website every week what is coming. I want to say it's starting on the 15th of July. But I'm not going to have a ton, because especially some of the smaller books that I might not even carry the book that it's promoting, I'm cutting way back on those, because that's literally just losing money. So, yeah, nobody's really figured out how to make this an event since we can't have people, vast quantities of people in the store, where regular business is fine, but nothing special. So that's what's going on there. Sorry for the bad news on that. Another thing that happened recently that's really weird is DC cut their ties with Diamond Comics, and Diamond is no longer distributing DC Comics. They've chosen 2 other distributors that are big mail order companies to distribute their books now. So we haven't gotten our first order from them yet. We did get our last order from Diamond for DC stuff last week. So if things are a little wonky, if I'm missing some things, it's just because everything's very unclear right now. I know how to order the new product in. I have no idea how to reorder product at this point. So things I'm sold out of, I'm not sure exactly how to get back in. So it's going to be a learning curve for everybody, and even placing pre-orders, it has been wonky. So we're all kind of figuring it out as we go along. Something that was quite unanticipated and a big curveball. So just be patient if I'm out of something like that. We're trying to find them and figure it out. My promotional during the shutdown, there were quite a few publishers that went out of their way to help out stores. People like TKO, who does the graphic novels, Vault, even Bad Idea that you haven't even seen yet, helped us out. And Boom has always been a big supporter with their returnability and making things easy on us. Aftershock just did a promo book that came out this week to help us, and Image is coming out with a special book I'll be talking about later. So I've been kind of focusing on that. Vault did some really nice stuff for us, so I promoted them in June, and we're going to go forward with Boom for July. They've been really supportive with returnability and making ordering product really easy and risk-free. So I really do want to support them. They started right around the time I opened, so I've always kind of kept an eye on them. And I've always wanted to support them because we're basically the same age. So I definitely want to support them. So in July, I'll have a nice little display up of many of the Boom books. They've been doing it for 14 years now, so they have far too much. I can't promote everything. But they've done a lot of really neat stuff over the years, and a lot of award-winning stuff like Lumberjanes and Giant Days, and even right now they have the Firefly franchise, Buffy, even Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So lots of good stuff there, and we'll promote that with double points all through the month of July. Now it's time to talk about what's coming out in July. It was a little trickier this month because normally I just grab the previews that applies to this, but I'm getting stuff that was in the previews in January, February, March, and April is all coming out this month. Just a little bit of chaos. So most of the stuff I actually had to do a search based on ship dates as opposed to when they were supposed to come out. So hopefully most of these are coming out. I know last time I kind of missed unintentionally. But so here's the stuff that's coming out in July. We'll start off with DC Comics. Not a lot from them. They're being a little confusing, like I said. So here's what should be coming out from them. Deceased Dead Planet. Deceased has been a really interesting story. I don't want to say a lot of fun because it's about zombies, but Tom Taylor has really been doing a great job with it. And this one is called Dead Planet. And it's years after the original Deceased, when the heroes basically lost and had to escape Earth, and they went out. And now there's a new Justice League on this Earth 2 that they've settled on. And it's Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne and Cassie Sandsmark are basically the new Justice League, the new Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And they've gotten there was a distress call coming from original Earth. And they go back to investigate. And it's going to be the story of what's been waiting for them and anticipating them coming back. Then we're starting, Joker War is starting in Batman 95. Joker suddenly has taken a prominent role in Gotham and is taking on Batman and his whole family. So Batman issues are going to be tying in. Also Detective 123 and 124 are tying in. We have Batgirl 47 and Nightwing 72 also tie into Joker War. Catwoman's not tying in, and what they're actually doing, they're doing a little two-part story. I think I talked about this last time. Written by Sean Gordon Murphy. And he's going to be doing the covers on that. It's a little two-part story just focusing on Catwoman. DC is also doing a summer special like they do every year. And this is the DC Cybernetic Summer special coming out. So that's about it as far as special things. Dark Knight's Death Metal did start, and we'll be getting issue 2 in July. So that's been starting off. That was Capullo and Scott Snyder revisiting their Dark Knight's Metal storyline and following up his Justice League story. So next up is Marvel. Marvel's got a lot of stuff going on. They, like I said, they've been kind of slowing down, just kind of getting out some of their main books so far through the end of May and June, and they're going to be ramping back up in the middle of July. And one of the big things they're ramping up with is Empire. That was their big summer event. And now, because everything got delayed, it's going to be weekly. So it's going to be a 6-issue weekly series starting, I believe, on the 15th. So that's going to be coming. The Kree and the Skrulls have united under a new emperor, and their war fleet is on a collision course with our world. So the heroes are going to be having to face a big intergalactic threat from the Kree and the Skrulls working together under a new leader, which is Hulkling. Now, Hulkling has been a part of Young Avengers. And basically his story is he is a child of the Kree Captain Marvel and a Skrull princess. And now because he has the bloodlines of both races, he has been the natural choice to lead them in their battle. And that story is going to be told in Lords of Empire, Emperor Hulkling, that's written by Chip Zdarsky, who before his Daredevil run, I wouldn't have given a lot of hope for this, but after his Daredevil run, he's a heck of a writer. So I'm excited about this. We had Empire Avengers Zero, which kind of set them up. This month we're getting Avengers Fantastic Four, or Empire Fantastic Four Zero, which is setting up the Fantastic Four at the end of the original Kree-Skrull War. They witnessed the end of it and saw what happened to the survivors of that. And that's going to change them going forward and into this event. Also, a bunch of little stories. We're getting Empire Avengers #1. Captain America sounds the call for help to face the threat that's coming and who will help him. Empire Savage Avengers, where this is going to be Conan and Venom taking on the alien invaders. Empire X-Men. This is going to be involving, this is written by Hickman, and it's about plant people from outer space showing up just as basically zombies start rising from Genosha, where they had all been killed years ago, and that's a product of the Empire and the attack. So we'll get to see where that goes. Also, Captain America. Cap stands on the front lines, but will he be enough? And so he's getting a little mini-series. Some other books that are tying in with Empire in the regular books are X-Men 10, Captain Marvel 18, and Fantastic Four 21. Those are all regular books that are going to be tie-ins. Other new books that are coming is there's a new X Factor book, and this is a book about all the mutants can now be resurrected if they die due to the Great Five, the combination of some mutants and their powers. X Factor is there to investigate why they died and if they deserve to come back. So that's going to be a new book. It's North Star, Polaris, Prodigy, iBoy, Daken, and Prestige are the team members on this new version of X Factor. Also returning in the X line are Hellions. We're finally getting issue 2, and Cable, we're also getting issue 2. Those they started right before the shutdown and kind of gone MIA. So those are coming back. Also have Giant Size Magneto is coming out, continuing the Giant Size line. Krakoa is only for mutants, but mutants still have to deal with the human world, and Magneto has a plan for how to deal with them. God Loves, Man Kills was a classic graphic novel, one of the early ones back in the day, back in the 80s, and then they basically, X-Men 2 was a good part of that storyline. Well, they're revisiting it and remastering it, and they've actually added new pages, new story parts to it, written by Chris Claremont and drawn by Brent Anderson, who did the original one. So that's going to be fun. I think that's just a couple parts, but they're adding to that story. Amazing Spider-Man is kicking off a new storyline, and they're doing it in a one-shot, which is Amazing Spider-Man Sins Rising Prelude, and it's the return of the Sin Eater. So this is going to kick off the next story that's going to be in the pages of the regular Amazing Spider-Man series, but they're doing a little one-off to start that. And then, tying in with the 2020 storyline in Iron Man, there's 2020 I, Wolverine, where back in the 90s there was a robot Wolverine named Albert, and he had a little friend named LCD, and this is the story of Albert going to make sure that she's okay during this big AI event that's taking place in Iron Man 2020. And then a couple other returning Marvel books are Strange Academy, which again we had #1 a long time ago. #2 is finally coming out, and Darth Vader 3 is finally coming out. We've kind of had a real shortage of Star Wars books, which has just been odd since there are so many. But these are all going to start ramping up again in July. Now we'll move on to some of the other guys. Image is doing an interesting thing where they had a Free Comic Book Day book that was planned, written by Robert Kirkman, drawn by Chris Samnee, called Firepower. And it was supposed to debut on Free Comic Book Day and follow in then with the series coming after that. And also that week was premiering a graphic novel, which is the prelude to the story. So they're still kind of going ahead with that. And on July 1st, we're actually getting the Free Comic Book Day book to give away, and the Prelude book is coming as well. So Firepower is a story about the one who wields the firepower is destined to save the world, but Owen Johnson has turned his back on that life. He only wants to raise his family and live his life, but unseen forces are at work to make that impossible. Danger lurks around every corner as Owen's past comes back to haunt him. Then Kirkman's doing also another thing, that this was great. This was very unexpected, and this was designed to help comic book stores. He's doing a Walking Dead kind of a coda. At the end of Walking Dead, Negan's fate really wasn't known. So what he's done, it's a one-shot, Negan Lives, that's coming out, just to kind of wrap up his story. So it's a nice little surprise coming out that we didn't expect. So that's going to be a nice little sales leader and give hopefully a little closure to Negan's story in The Walking Dead. Also, Jason Aaron is back with his Goddamned series, which was a story about the world before the flood. And this is Goddamn Virgin Brides. And in the world of men, torture and hatred abounds, but there's this one area on this mountaintop where there are no men. And it's a peaceful place. And this is where the Virgin Brides are. So that's coming out. Hedra is an interesting one. In a glorious exploration of the comics medium, a lone astronaut leaves a world ravaged by nuclear war in search of life. What she finds is beyond all explanation. And it just looks like kind of an exploratory book, something to see what you can do with the medium of comics, with the visual stuff. I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of just images and things, and not a lot of words. So that could be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that is. Lost Soldiers is a new one from Alice Cott. It's a wartime book where 3 soldiers from Vietnam are facing a new war in Juarez, and they're bringing some of their horrors with them. Pulp is a new hardcover from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, who've done a bunch of stuff. Criminal, and they've done a couple hardcovers with that, and really, really well received. And this is about a pulp writer named Max Winters in 1930s New York, and all of a sudden his life is starting to resemble some of the stories that he writes. It's a tale of Wild West outlaw dispensing justice with a gun, but will Max be able to do the same when pursued by bank robbers, Nazi spies, and enemies from his past? So, knowing these two, it should be a really, really good book. Witchblade, they're doing a 25th anniversary issue, just doing a new reprinting with some extra stuff in it. So if you're a big fan of the original image run of that, they're doing a new #1 on that, or reprinting #1 on that. Then a couple other odd ones coming. We have Chew, which is Tony Chew. He had a long-running series where when he eats something, he can see, like especially if it's an animal, he can see how it died. If he can, taste the blood of a victim, he can find out how they were killed. Well, his sister Saffron finds out secrets from people by eating with them. And unfortunately, she's a criminal, and will have dinner with someone and then can discover where all their secrets are and take advantage of that. So this is a series of their worlds colliding. And then one called Bliss. There's a new drug called Bliss in Feral City. And it's a story of a young man. He's got a very sick child and a distraught wife. And he makes a deal with kind of the devil to be the hitman for these people and what his story is. IDW has a couple interesting ones. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Too Long a Sacrifice. Death casts a shadow on as Constable Odo searches for truth amid a web of treachery and lies. We haven't had a lot of Deep Space Nine books, so it's nice they're kind of branching out from beyond the basic Star Trek stuff. And then Snake Eyes Dead Game, and this is written and drawn, I believe, by Rob Liefeld, or at least written by. And Snake Eyes has long been the most mysterious of the Joes, but how long can he keep his past classified before it comes back to haunt him? So that's the story of Snake Eyes, everybody's favorite Joe. Well, most people's favorite Joe. Boom has a couple good ones too. We're getting a Willow series spinning out of Buffy, where Willow has finally left Sunnydale and decided to go out on her own, and she goes to a school that promises to help her be her best self, but sinister forces are at work, and if her best self isn't what the school wants, they'll mold her the way they want at any cost. And then we also have Power Rangers Ranger Slayer. And the Pink Ranger is back from an alternate reality where she was evil and a hunter and is now back on the regular Earth. And how can she prove to everyone that she's not the evil killer and is actually a hero? Dynamite has some fun ones. We have Green Hornet, and I remember going, another Green Hornet, but the idea behind this is Green Hornet and Kato discover an alien baby has crash landed on Earth, and they now have to protect this baby from the evil people that want it for themselves. So it sounds kind of familiar. And then Betty Page has a new series. These have all been a lot of fun, and this is one where she is filming a tastefully sensual movie on a secluded tropical island when one of the cast members is murdered, and everybody's a suspect. And it's a nice little murder mystery. I also have one called Sacred Six, and this is by Christopher Priest and Jay Lee, and this is spinning out of Vampirella, where there's a town called Draculina, Pantha, Nyx, and Chastity are all brought together to protect from going to war against the town of Sacred. So we'll see where that goes, but lots of fun female characters and vampires and all sorts of stuff going on there. Action Lab has a fun little one called Villain Seeking Hero, where failing villains kind of gather up and form their own group, and now they feel that they can be the Frightening Five, and now they're looking for a hero to terrorize. AWA is a new company, and sadly their first wave of books hit the week that we shut down. So I was really concerned that their stuff was going to be forgotten. There's a book called Resistance that's written by J. Michael Straczynski, drawn by Mike Deodato, about a pandemic, very timely. Hotel, which is a horror book. Red Border, which is a little bit of a horror book too. Archangel 8 is kind of a religious book. But they've been really, really well received. Year Zero is a zombie book that's written by Ben Percy. And I've been very, very pleasantly surprised at how well these books have been received. And they have a new one coming out called Devil's Highway. This is also by Ben Percy, who's written a lot of Wolverine, so he's a big writer. But it's a nerve-wracking thriller examining murder in the dark underbelly of America's heartland. So it looks good, about a woman seeking vengeance on a serial killer and opening up a whole vicious underbelly of things going on. So that looks really good. Clover is a new company kind of spinning out of IDW. The guy who founded IDW was kind of ousted, and he's created this new company called Clover. And Steve Niles had a long relationship with IDW. That's where he got started with 30 Days a Night. So he's done a couple books with them. And this one is Possessed, #1. And basically in Nazi Germany, in Nazi-occupied Budapest, a boy and his grandfather witness their family murdered, and they're rescued by a rabbi. And the grandfather wants to seek vengeance on the people who did this. And the rabbi has this box of untold evil that he then uses to seek vengeance. So Grandpa becomes possessed. Vault has a couple. Vampire the Masquerade. Now this was a series that before I opened even was real big, based on the World of Darkness universe. And Vampire the Masquerade was part of it. And this is a new story. Neat thing is it's written by Tim Seeley, who's done a lot of things. I think right now he's currently doing Money Shot, which is a big one. But so we're revisiting that world. And then they have another one called Engine Word. And this is in a world where these great celestials have taken over. Earth is long forgotten. And the celestials, godlike celestials, rule, and they rule with brutal efficiency. Well, this girl, Joss, who is an Engine Ward, discovers and reactivates the head of an ancient golem. And what happens, and she discovers what really happened in the world and what her future is. And it's going to be her story. So that's most of what's coming. It's still going a little slow. Everybody, I think the printers are still getting ramped up and they're a little overwhelmed. So books are still coming. Every week we're getting something good. So we're not doing book club yet. I don't know when we can have a large group of people. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. So we're holding off book club for right now. So I'll let you know when that's firing back up. We are doing Boom Studios. We're doing double points on Boom Studios this month. That's about it. If you have any questions about anything, what's going on, what I have, what I can get, please reach out. Website's pittsburghcomics.com. Every week I post what's coming out there. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics, and Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. So thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions, and stay tuned for Comic Previews Theater. Thanks.
You dare set foot on the sacred steps of the Temple of the Flaming Fist uninvited? Why have you come here?
There are stories of a great temple hidden in this mountain range, led by Master Wei Lun. I've come here to learn.
There are a great many places for learning in this world. All of them far easier to get to.
I've learned all I can. down there. Show me! You will show me! Now! I haven't eaten in days. I'm very weak. You want me to fight you? Mind or body? You should know who commands who. Have you not learned to always be ready? I have. Now you fight to prove your place among us. If I turn you away, you will surely die. It is for your life you now fight. Your level of effort should reflect that. Attack me! Wailing Scorpion Strike. Where did you learn this? Master Chan. Master Chan learned it from me. Patient Serpent Sweep? You learned this from Master Ping? Yes. Master Ping also learned that from me. And where have you learned this? Hungry Tiger Assault. I learned from Master Shun. Master Shun learned it from Master Thwang, who learned it from me. Master Lun is fighting a newcomer. Quiet. Whoa, he's good. Where did you learn that? From you, just now. You weren't attacking, but I was studying your movements, seeing how you would have attacked if you wanted to. I've been told I'm a fast learner.